The founders of KUAM had a vision to be a source of information and entertainment for our region. Our inaugural slogan, Voice of the Marianas, is something that still resonates today through our dedicated coverage of CNMI news and community information on television and our digital platforms. We are proud to be your Voice of the Marianas and thank you for turning to us to keep you informed. KUAM, a legacy of local, a legacy of firsts for 70 years. All right, so Commissioner Macaranas, thanks for your time. Maybe we can just start with an update on the missing person.
Yes. The missing person was reported on Wednesday in the evening hours. The family member were concerned because when the wife of the missing person came home about 4:30, there was no response. Even earlier response of trying to get hold of him. Family were concerned. They went out and went around the island trying to locate the missing person. So they found his vehicle up in Suicide Cliff somewhere about 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then that's when they initiate the missing person report at about 7:38. Yesterday, CIB along with the critical incident response team, which is our version of the tactical unit, had a briefing as to the day's course of action, and that includes the inclusion of our other agencies, the Customs and Biosecurity, Mayor's Office, and other volunteers that came to help out. So yesterday they went as far as looking down from Suicide Cliff down and the surrounding areas and the cliff line. They did deploy some drones to try and locate the cliff line. And there was an attempt to do a rappelling. I'm going to have DFM PIO explain why. Until today, again this morning about 6:30, my personnel along with the Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services with Customs and Biosecurity met up at Suicide Cliff. They did a briefing on the plan of action, and they went out searching on the particular areas that they were assigned. The Mayor's Office took the initiative to search from the Old Cowtown westward towards the Veteran Cemetery. Just before 10 a.m., I was informed that a body was found on the northern side of Suicide Cliff on the bottom of the cliff. And the Department of Fire and EMS, the search and rescue people that rappelled down, took some time to secure the body and bring it down safely to the bottom of the cliff, which is along the road of Marpi Road, where the awaiting police officers to receive the body, and eventually was transported up to the hospital at CHC. The wife did identify the body as her husband.
And Commissioner, can you share just again the timeline? So you said it was Tuesday, April 30th. His wife went home and he wasn't there, and then the official announcement was made on the 1st at 7:30.
It was on May 1st, Wednesday. That's during the day when the wife did send some messages to him. In the afternoon, there was no response, and then in the late afternoon when she got home, she has not got any response back from her. that prompted her to look around the house and or eventually asking the family to go and look for him because there was no mention as to where he's at, and that kind of concerned the family. So the family went on and went around the island. They went beyond and heading north to Marpi, and that's when they found his truck at the top of Suicide Cliff
And when did they find that?
on the first.
Oh, the same day.
Yes, same day. Yes.
And so the search started.
The search started yesterday because when they found the truck, it was nighttime, so that kind of prevented us from conducting any search because of poor lighting area, and of course it's windy at that time. Yesterday morning when the tactical unit along with the Department of Fire and EMS gathered and do some briefing down at Marpi, down at Suicide Cliff, up at Suicide Cliff, where they made a tour search around the area. That includes the cliff line. Fortunately, there's nothing much that they can do on rappelling as of yesterday because of the conditions. But they did flown the drone. But even with the drone, it's because of weather reason why it was kind of very restrictive to continue on.
And Commissioner, can you just share the cause of death and any signs of foul play at this time?
Right now, I cannot divulge any of that information because it's still in the early stage of investigation. But we're looking forward that should a cause has been informed, we'll be giving you updates.
Oh, so right now, as we speak, what is it being initiated right now by the DBS investigation?
The investigation was initiated since yesterday.
Mm.
But this is just the ongoing investigation. Where now they have to find out the actual cause. So CID right now are actively investigating the case right now.
So that's what's going on right now
as we speak. It's going on.
Okay.
Can you divulge based on initial observation if there was any foul play or if?
Like I say, right now, it's too early to divulge anything that's surrounding the missing person and the body was found. It's too early to divulge any information. But should any update be given, we will surely notify you.
Besides the name of the person, can we get also the name of wife and the village where they live, and if ever have you ever any information in regards to the status of the person? I mean, what his profession? Who is he? Is he a retiree? Is he a government employee? Do you have any information like that? What is he doing for a living right now?
Okay. Right now, with the due respect for the privacy of the family, they're currently residing in Guadalupe. But as far as to the name, probably we'll give it to you at a later date.
Okay.
Because the family is still grieving on what's going on right now. So we just have to give them time.
Is it okay to share the first name of the wife so that we just don't mention wife? Maybe we can, maybe even the first name of the wife. Okay.
Like I said, we'll provide you that later
Okay.
on. Okay.
Okay.
Because we just have to respect the privacy for the family right now.
Okay.
The defense want to comment on their role and
So with our role in the searches, like the commissioner was saying, we were going to try and do rappelling yesterday, but due to like weather conditions, the wind, we didn't want to have any of the guys go off on the cliff line, then they get stuck or something else happens. So the search yesterday, what we did was we had about 3 to 4 teams push out from the beginning of Suicide Cliff all the way towards, we went as far as to the Hope Center, and we scouted about maybe 500-600 meters of just on foot hiking. Today though is when weather conditions did permit, and we were able to rappel down. We did 2 rappels. We rappelled down on the right side of the cliff, made our way along the cliff line, hugged the cliff line, hiked in about maybe 80 meters, and then we rappelled again another time. It was once we rappelled the second time is when we ended up finding the individual.
And how far down the cliff was that?
Maybe 300, 200 feet. It was right in the middle where we found the individual.
300 feet
Yes, sir.
from the top.
It was right in the middle when we found him. Yeah.
And what side of the cliff is that? That's northeast or
I was like right in the front,
the front?
right where the mouth is at. So I think northeast.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't fell all the way down to the wall. Okay.
Is there some sort of trail there that he might have
Not
found
from
himself
what-
there, or yeah?
I don't think so. We had to rappel to get down to where he was at.
So that's the standard. No, the other agencies are top, like the defense, the custom. When the missing person, can you educate us when things like this happen? What are the other agencies that are involved again?
And who specifically was involved for this one?
Yeah.
In respect to missing person, it all depends on where's the incident took place. If it took place in our common village, of course, we go hand in hand with Department of Fire and EMS to actually come with a plan as to where is the most area of concentration to look for the person. So when those things are done, and hopefully we can find the person. As far as in this case, because the truck was located in Suicide Cliff, the area of concentration is just within the Suicide Cliff. But we went beyond, going backwards. That's the road that's leading up to Suicide Cliff. We took the effort to cover that part just in case. We want to make sure that we don't leave any rocks unturned. But we want to make sure we covered as much as we can. Imagine where people can actually walk to. So, the cliff line is one of the place, but we're not. That doesn't mean we're not gonna entertain what's behind the cliff. So we want to make sure we cover that, and that's from the back and the bottom of the cliff, and that's even covering beyond the road in Marpi into the flatline Boone area. That includes all the way to the to the veteran cemetery.
Is there any indication of how long he might have been there for, or?
That's something I have not got that information yet, but hopefully we can get that in a later date.
Any description of the injury? We can imagine that, but official statement. Any.
Well, of course, the only thing common I could say is probably injuries result from a fall. As far as anything else, that's going to be determined. If further forensic autopsy needs to be done, then that's going to be determined.
Still.
And the autopsy will be conducted here by Dodderman, or?
It all depends again. It's based on the need to conduct, but in this case, probably some people would or the family would like to know what it really happened.
I'm not sure. Maybe Sergeant Sato, this is for you, but this is the third or fourth missing persons report we've had this year.
This will be the third this year.
The third in 2024.
Yes,
Okay.
the third for this year.
I'm sorry, Mr. Monica, what is your first name again and your rank?
Firefighter 3, Robert.
Robert Monica. Okay.
And so, Commissioner, can you just again maybe remind us what the protocol is? If someone believes their family or friend goes missing, how many hours until you can act, and what's the protocol there?
Well, the old protocol was to wait 24 hours, but since I came into office, I changed that any missing person that's reported will be actively investigated right away. We cannot afford to wait until 24 hours, because that 24 hours, there's a lot of things that can happen. That's an open window as to what we're just waiting for something to happen. So we can prevent that by just making it, once a family member comes in and report a loved ones that are missing, then we actively start doing the search.
And in this case, when was the report made, and then when was the search?
The report was made on the day that they found the truck at Suicide Cliff.
On the first.
On the first.
And you guys started
Yes,
the search
yeah,
on the first.
We were prevented from doing search because it's already in the early evening hours.
So the second.
So it's yesterday and today when we started the search.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner, when did you change the protocol? Exactly?
We need to contact.
Well, I believe that missing person plays so much role that I cannot afford to wait until something had happened. So I need to actually, the department has to actively go and try and locate this missing person, because the loved ones that comes over to the police department to ask for help because of a missing person, I took that as a very important part, that I have to make sure that the welfare and the safety of that person that is missing is a priority.
Okay.
Can I just add something? DPS would like to thank the other government agencies, the Office of the Mayor, Alcohol and Beverage Tobacco Control, ABTC, DFEMS, Customs Biosecurity, and the volunteers who came out to assist in the search. As you know, the department is thin on manpower, so the help that we get from the other agencies outside really puts a big effort into finding a positive outcome. Unfortunately, this one was a little bit different, and we also want to extend our condolences to the family. They were out there also helping out with the search. You know, we also want to let the community understand that, you know, these searches, we really value the safety and the efforts of others that want to be involved, but there's also protocols that they need to at least assist with us, so that there is that accountability, and that everyone who is taking part in the search is, you know, going home safe. And that's you know, and the governor and the lieutenant governor have also extended their condolences to the family members. And right now, with any information we get in the coming days, we will be sure to provide it to you guys. It's still early in this early stages of the investigation, so we'll allow the family to give them that respect and privacy. And once we get further information as far as the investigation goes, I'll immediately provide it to you guys.
And Fred, do you have an estimate? Because we were there yesterday in the Marpi area, and there were a lot of people. So how many,
Yes.
you know? law
I
enforcement was out
can't
there?
give you an exact number. I'm not gonna say it was more than 200 people, maybe less. But the fact that we had that amount of people helping with this search, it says a lot about our community, and we hope that in future cases like this, that we get that same effort from, you know, our agencies and the volunteers, so that we can have a better positive outcome from it.
And Commissioner, and I also want to mention for the viewing public, this press conference was actually scheduled over a week ago. It was a pre-scheduled press conference, and the news so happened to develop this morning. But is it all right to ask you other questions in other areas that we plan to ask you about?
Sure.
All right. Maybe first we can start with an update on the double homicide that happened earlier in January. Where are we at with that?
Okay, with the double homicide, the case is still actively. We did send off some of the evidence off already, so we're just waiting for the results. Hopefully that when it comes as soon as possible, then there's going to be another step to take care. But we're getting close to solving it.
Any persons of interest since we last spoke?
There is a person of interest, but right now, because it's still ongoing, as much as I want to divulge, but because of the case, I need to refrain from naming the person of interest.
They're on site then?
Yes.
And they're notified that have you interviewed them or?
My detectives are still actively investigating the case. The case has never stopped ever since it was started. But till then, until we wrap this case and we bring it to trial, then that's when we're gonna be on hold to stop the investigation. But it's still actively investigating.
And then the sexual assault of a minor case at Marianas High School. Last we spoke, there was a press release that you were having issues interviewing the person involved. Is there any development since then?
We're still in consultation with the Attorney General's office with regards to that case because there's a not a problem, but there's some concern that we have to make sure we address before we can actually move forward. The case is currently with the Attorney General's office, but still we need to actually sit down and discuss it more because of the nature of the witness statement.
So you haven't interviewed the person involved yet?
I'm not sure if they did, but hopefully if they do, then like I said, the case is still ongoing.
Okay.
Commissioner, so this is the 4th death that we had to investigate this year. Can you tell us, are we equipped to continue to do this in case that there are more, or is there still a shortage in manpower? Are we going to address that?
Well, as you know, with our resources here, we are able to do as much as we can. But because we have agencies like in Guam, as well as the mainland, that can help us in part of the forensic side, which would be either the fingerprint or evidence that they had collected. They have people that would actually examine those evidence, and then results will come out, and then it comes back to us to initiate the next step once we get a confirmation.
So are we still going to pursue an academy this year, or are we not going to do that?
I cannot say much about we're pursuing academy, but I'm still working on findings, other avenues that I could have funds that I could have to open the academy. It takes everything is there. We can in regards to the academics and all the things, but it's just the money that would hire is that's really the issue right now.
But is an academy
This-
academy necessary?
Well, part of the prerequisite to be a police officer, you have to go through a police academy in order for you to become a police officer.
Sorry, I have one more question. I understand that we had, it's Public Safety Awareness Month.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that means, what it signifies to the CNMI community?
The Public Safety Awareness Month, it's just a month of recognizing all the law enforcement, any agencies that are tasked to enforce laws. This is the month to recognize them. May 15 is the day where it's a peace memorial. It's given to all police officers, law enforcement officers. It's a law signed by the late U.S. President John F. Kennedy that dedicated the May 15 as a day of memory for all police officers or law enforcement officers that are living and that are already passed on, to recognize them. But I always stressed out that this month also it's not for the law enforcement, but also recognize also as the family. The family are the biggest people that made the sacrifice to allow their loved ones to do what they love, and that's to serve and protect. So we could never leave out the family, because the family are the one that's allowing them. And when they come home, they also take care of their loved ones. Either coping with stress, just talking over what they've done. It's a big impact to the law enforcement officer. I recognize the family especially, because they're the biggest role in every law enforcement's life, or when they come to work. Every law enforcement, you never know what's going to happen. That could be the last time that an officer steps out of his door, or her door and never comes back because of the role they do. So, you know, we're just here to recognize them and say thank you very much to all law enforcement officers.
While we have the PIO, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
All right, so, sorry, can I have the mic? Thank you. So, right now, we understand that in the NMI, it is fire season, wildfire
Yes.
season. Can you just speak a little bit about that? Advise the community on the do's and the don'ts?
So for the fire season, like I was posting the Variety and Tribune, we had 65 fires. We battled 65 fires for the month of just April alone. And it was 2-3 fires sometimes a day. Our biggest thing is that if you have a lot of vegetation growing around your house, if you can try and get rid of it, get rid of it. If you are gonna burn it, we don't authorize you guys to burn, but you know, we have burning permits and just burn in small piles. We know there's people that try and burn big piles of debris or trash. Don't burn trash, but if you're gonna burn your dead leaves or your vegetation, small piles. There was a bunch of houses up at Marpy Wireless when we were battling that fire. They tried and made what's called a fire break between their home and the surrounding vegetation. That does help. And then the last fire we had on Monday, when I went to go help this one house, the family didn't even know that there was a fire like right behind their door. And it wasn't until I went to the door, knocked on it, and said, "Hey, there's a fire right behind you guys." They had some space between where the fire was and their home, but I think if I didn't get there in time, then their home would have been. So we do try and stress out, if you're gonna have a lot of vegetation on your house, try and keep a little bit of a fire break, maybe 20 feet from where there's vegetation and your home. That way, it's less of a chance of your house catching on fire. And if it's really hot outside, don't be burning, because even like a little ember can just cause a big fire.
And that goes for like people who may be just flicking
Even
cigarettes out the
I think
window.
with because we had one fire next to D&Q. We were there in the morning, and we surrounded the whole place with water, and then I think by 9 p.m. same exact spot was lit up again. So we just try and urge everyone, if you're out in the public and you're just throwing your cigarette butts, please be careful, because even that can just cause a spark.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Are the fire burning permit suspensions still active?
It's still active until the prevention office says otherwise.
What would be the, I guess, consequences if you do burn?
So I think there's a fine that will be brought upon you once the investigators go to the house and do a fine, and then I think it goes from there.
And so you said 65 in April alone?
Yes.
Is there a typical number around
Well,
this season?
It's that's our most so far. Usually it's in the 50s, but now because of how hot it's been getting, and then we also have the drought. So, and like I was saying, it's either one fire a day, but we've had multiple fires in different locations. We'll have one in COP, and then one at Marpy, one in Talafofo, and it's just us battling it.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
And on that note, well, thanks for all your service, but how many firefighters are there, and are you guys also kind of hard pressed to have the manpower?
I mean, as much as, you know, like the commissioner, we'd like to have an academy, but then, you know, there's a whole process going into it. Right now with Saipan, I think we have 118 firefighters total that work on 24-hour shifts. So it's one Monday in, Tuesday out, and then we go from there.
How many are on a shift?
So with each station, there's about, I think, 30. It has to be at least 30 or 25 to 30 on a shift. So for each station, there's at least 5 guys or 6 guys.
And how many stations? Sorry.
So we have Kagman, Garapan, Susupi, and Coburnville Station.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks. All right, thank you all.
Thank